So, Child Emperor has successfully saved Waganma. This was the main reason why they're doing all of this. I mean, also to take out the Monster Association, which is the only thing left now. Like, that's why the other S-Class heroes are staying down there to exterminate them, because, you know, now that Waganma is saved, it's not like the Monster Association is going to be like, oh, okay, guys, you won, you know, we surrender. It's like, no, they're still going to try to take over the Earth, so you have to kill them. And as Child Emperor is relaying this to the rest of the S-Class through the transmitter, they eventually get back to them, and he winds up hearing from Atomic Samurai that there's another kid down there, which is of course Tario. Child Emperor did ask Waganma in the previous episode, like, if there was anyone else down there, but Waganma lied to him because he wouldn't have to stay in the Monster Association any longer than he had to. And, you know, of course, he's like an affluent brat, so it's part of the course for him. But Child Emperor's like, okay, well, there's another kid down there, so I guess I need to go back down there and save him, which, you know, as he should. Child Emperor is a true hero after all. And we see Needlestar saying, like, S-Class. I want to reach that level someday, but it won't be easy. And if you're thinking, like, is this foreshadowing that he's going to become an S-Class hero, or that other members of the support team are going to become S-Class heroes? To be honest, I don't know, because these characters are hardly ever touched on again after this, pretty much. I mean, they kind of come back here and there, but not to the extent that you would think. So I wouldn't hold my breath on anything being set up here. So then we're coming to Atomic Samurai taking on Black S, or Black Spermatozoa. We saw him encounter him at the end of the previous episode. That's how he found out that Tario was down there. And we're finally seeing what, like, Black S's abilities are. At first, we see that he can, like, mutate his body and makes, like, this huge arm, to which Atomic Samurai cuts off. But then that kind of takes on another Black S of its own. And we're seeing that, oh, Black S is, as he says, countless versions of himself combined into one, to which he could just spread himself apart or mutate or do all of that at the same time. And if you're wondering, like, well, is there truly countless? It's like, no, there is a finite number of Black S's, but the number is, like, way higher than what you would think it is. I mean, as we see in this episode, just throughout this hallway, there's hundreds of thousands of him. So there's definitely more than that, since each one of those within the hundreds of thousands have, like, hundreds of thousands condensed within that. Because one of them hits Atomic Samurai and it messes him up. This is an S-Class hero after all, and he's like, wow, even after being split up, he's that strong? It's like, yeah. Hey guys, can we also try to get 3,000 likes on this video? Just take your phone, hit the like button on there. It'll help me. It'll help the video. Thanks, I appreciate it. So just from this sequence alone, you can already see that Black S is easily one of the strongest monsters we have ever seen in the series. And we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg with him. Like, his abilities go so much further than this. And unfortunately, we're not really going to see much more of him after this. Maybe we'll see a little bit more in the next episode. But he's really going to shine in season 4, if we get it. So this is like the biggest beating this season so far that we've seen an S-Class hero take, right? He is almost at death's door right now, and his last ditch effort is to just cut the ceiling so that it falls on Black S, and then hopefully he can, like, escape at this point. I mean, we're cutting away from the fight, so we're not going to see what happens, but yeah, he's essentially defeated here. But yeah, he's a great matchup for Atomic Samurai, whose whole thing is just slashing and whatnot. And if you cut Black S, you're basically helping him just multiply further. And you can't, like, cut him since he's, like, malleable and can regenerate or whatever. And I guess that goes into his name being Black Spermatozoa, because, you know, it kind of operates that way, I suppose. And it also makes you wonder, how did he come to be? Because we could see the origin of quite a few of the monsters, especially Neon later on in this episode. It's like, what's Black S's origin? But first, guys, I just got the best Christmas present ever, and that's the new Hovsko Hov GTRS Ultra moped-style electric bike. First of all, just look at this thing. It is incredibly cool. It's like the coolest e-bike I've ever seen. It's got a 1500 watt power motor, a top speed of 32 miles per hour. That is incredibly fast. And it has a range of 65 miles, but if you get the dual battery, it goes up to 150 miles. It has powerful front and rear brakes, a sweet headlight and tail lights, an LCD display, and a Shimano 7-gear shifter. This thing is so much fun. Whether you want to just pedal around or just crank down on the throttle and have an incredible ride. You can easily cruise through the street, some trails, the forest, or if you just want to go up a hill, it has no problem doing that. This is for sure my new daily commuter, especially because I don't have a car. Why would I need one if I have this? So guys, guys, if you're looking for an incredible Christmas present for you or a loved one, check the link in the description and make sure you use my code BIGZ for $100 off. Thanks, guys. But anyway, on to the next big battle. So Zombie Man is encountering another top monster, and I say monster loosely, of the Monster Association, and that's Homeless Emperor. This guy has like light energy sphere abilities, and he's ultra powerful, of course, and he's just blowing Zombie Man away. And if this was any other hero, you know, aside from like the top 5 strongest or whatever, they probably would have died at this point from taking so many of these blasts face first. But Zombie Man, as we saw previously, has like regeneration, so he can come back from this. But yeah, Homeless Emperor, extremely powerful, just like Black S, one of the strongest monsters we've ever seen in the series so far. And like I said, monster loosely because he technically is still a human. He just has powers that were bestowed upon him, which he surprisingly reveals here after Zombie Man asks him how it works. So it turns out that Homeless Emperor was just like a salary man, and he got fired for following his boss's orders. And after that, he kind of just became like a homeless guy, I guess, and slowly became misanthropic with humanity about their treatment of Earth. And as he was about to take himself out, suddenly this entity appeared before him by the name of God. And God was like, hey, you're right. Humans are stupid. They should die. Here's some powers. You should know what to do with them. So this is so important to the series because this God entity thing is in fact very real, because Zombie Man asks, it's like, how did you know this guy was God? Did he have an ID? And it's like, no, he's not like literally God. He's not like the religious head figure of this One Punch Man world, or he's not like the creator of the universe, or he's not like the one above all in Marvel or whatever. He's just this entity that calls itself God, and he is essentially the final boss of this series. I mean, I'm not really spoiling anything, but he is for sure what the end game of this series is leading to. Like, it will ultimately come down to God versus Saitama. Now, I can't really get any more into that, but this is the first time we're hearing about this character, but maybe we have already seen the seeds have been planted, because I'm sure some of you have already noticed that Homeless Emperor's abilities are very similar to Vaccine Man's abilities. You know, the Piccolo-inspired monster that we saw in the very first episode? They both have like these light sphere things. Now, Homeless Emperor's powers work very differently. They become tubular at times, and they're very defensive as well. We see that they're strong enough to have like this automatic defense mechanism to stop like a last-second bullet from hitting it. But another common factor that they have besides those light power things is that they both are concerned with Earth and how humans treat it. Because Vaccine Man said that he's the result of pollution and how the humans are destroying the Earth. I'm paraphrasing. But it also makes you wonder, like, is Vaccine Man a product of God as well? And while it's never outright fully stated, I'm pretty sure he is. And it would make sense because he's the first villain that we see in the series. He's the first guy that Saitama defeats, at least for the audience's perspective. So that would be a great way to bookend the series and to have God set up in the very beginning. But we cut away from that fight as Zombie Man is like regenerating, but we're going to come back to it. But as we could see, Zombie Man is at an uphill battle at this point. Like, it's not really looking good for him. Then we're coming to Saitama, who is just walking around. I was hoping that we were going to see more of Saitama in this episode, especially the end, but I guess we're just going to see what he does at the beginning of the next episode. But for the rest of this episode, we're coming into Puri-Puri Prisoner sequence, where at first he's running into like a handful of these lower level tiger monsters, and they have really no effect against him because he's freaking S-class, until this random demon level shows up by the name of Waganma, and he vacuumas all of the monsters up and gains their ability. That's like his gimmick. And he, you know, tries his best to go after Puri with these abilities, but they have no effect, and they kind of wind up giving Puri-Puri Prisoner like this weird power up as to where like he can vibrate now, and the vibration makes him stronger. Then he just instantly defeats Waganma, and that was kind of just like speed running Puri's arc here, because, you know, as we've seen with the cycle of these fights so far, it's like the S-class heroes first fight a demon level to show how powerful they are, then they run into a dragon or a top monster of the Monster Association to see see the difference. So that's exactly what's happening with Puri here, because first he runs into his fellow prisoners from Smelly Lid Prison, the place that he resides. We saw in season 2 that Neon, the monster that he's going to fight here, broke into that prison, gave them monster cells, and they became monsters. And now that's coming full circle here. And as Puri is going to fight against Neon here, he does get slashed, but like once again on the fly, he's able to like adapt, regenerate somehow, which I guess could be alluding to him maybe being a pseudo monster, the way we saw with Garo earlier in the season, and grows from the damage here, and then gains bristle armor, which is just thicker hair that's longer, I guess. And surprisingly, Neon finds that Puri is a bad matchup for him and not vice versa, because it reminds him of his previous owner before he became a monster. Like, I guess that's what led him to monsterization. He was just so upset with his overbearing owner that the monsterization caused him to become freaking dragon level, and not only dragon, but like one of the strongest monsters in the Monster Association. But because that reminds him of Puri-Puri Prisoner, he doesn't want to fight against him, and he picks the fights that he wants because he's selfish or whatever. And this is contrary to what's been happening so far, because all of the matchups have been picked so that the top monsters are bad matchups for their opponents. You know, Black S going against Atomic Samurai, Homeless Emperor going against Zombie Man, and so on and so forth, but this one was kind of the opposite. And Neon tries to escape through like a crack in the wall, and they reveal that one of their abilities is that as long as there's like 3 millimeters or whatever, they can slip through it or like mend their body to go through something that thin. I guess, you know, kind of like what cats do when they go under doors or whatever. But Puri goes after Neon by just swimming through the concrete, and Neon winds up escaping and just chooses to not fight Puri at all, and is just gonna go fight another hero instead. And as Puri's coming out of the ceiling, the rocks fall down on his prisoners, and he winds up killing them all accidentally. Who, let me also just say, we're justified in attacking Puri, because Puri, you know, did assault all of them. Like, Puri-Puri Prisoner is in prison because he was a serial man assaulter. I just want to put that out there. He's not like a good guy. I mean, yeah, he's good for being a hero and saving people, but outside of that, he is for sure a villain. He's a very odd character, and one of the strangest characters that one has ever made across all of his series. And it's just so interesting that he gets so much spotlight and character development for it to ultimately not really matter. But after Puri accidentally kills the prisoners, which was like essentially the only thing that could really happen with them, it's not like they were going to reverse their monsterization. He like yells out in sadness, and Saitama winds up hearing this, who is still just aimlessly going through the halls here. That's where the episode ends. Saitama just trying to figure out what he's doing, what his purpose is here. I mean, yeah, he's looking for the cause of the explosions and the rumbles or whatever that were happening when Garo was fighting over and over. And like I said, we're probably going to see what's going to happen with Saitama at the beginning of the next episode, which is the last episode of the season. So let me know what you thought about all of this in the comments, guys. If you liked it, please give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.